All right, everybody. We are rained delayed, but not rained out. So we are ready to go for the NBC game of the week on Fall Classic. Just have to get everything set up in here the way I think it needs to be done. So let me back this up just a hair, give us more room. And I think we can fit it all in here. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to score it off. Score pad is here, but I'm going to use the line score and base running tokens to tell you what's going on in the game itself. And then I do, like I said, I do have the score pad here ready to go, and I'll be scoring the game as we play it. But I thought this might be a better presentation. I'm not sure. When guys get on base, I'll have the tokens out there for whoever's on base to show them as base runners. So hopefully that will suffice. We have the Mets and the Dodgers from Shea Stadium, 1979 variety. Hello, Brian B. and hello, Ben. The more I thought about it, when I was growing up, the NBC game of the week was actually at 2 Eastern. It was never at noon. It was always at 2 Eastern. So I don't know. Maybe 2 Eastern is a thing now. Hello, Jeremy. So maybe that's more realistic. But then again, I did it at noon basically to I thought people would have, later in the afternoon, people would have other things they got going on. So I thought 12 would be great, but I had some personal stuff to take care of this morning. So I knew it wouldn't get done and be ready to go by 12. So I just manufactured a rain delay at Shea Stadium, which is certainly not out of the question. And we are ready to go. All right, like I said, I do have the score sheet here. So if you want to see the lineups, that's who we have for the lineups. Lopes, Russell, Smith, Garvey, Say, Baker, Darryl Thomas, Yeager, and Hooton. That's pretty basic for the Dodgers. For the Mets, it's Taveras, Hebner, Mazzilli, Henderson, Montañez, Youngblood, Stearns, Flynn, and Falcone for the Mets. Bert Hooton is 4-0 in the replay. I'm using Action PC to sim everything other than the games of the week. He's 4-0. Pete Falcone is 1-1. So there you go. $2:15. Okay. Well, I mean, we're almost at 2:15. We're getting close. So this would be like when the pregame was on, I guess. Pregame, you'd have either Glenn Berman or Bob Costas or somebody doing or maybe even what's his name, Greg Gumbel or somebody doing the pregame, and then flip it over to Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek. Now, like I said, I don't have the actual schedule for the 79 games that were actually played on the NBC game of the week, but I did go through and look at the Saturday games that were played in the afternoon, and I want to show all the teams, so I'm doing a little bit of everything to try to show all these teams out there. Next week we'll be in Cincinnati for the Houston Astros and the Cincinnati Reds. That'll be next Saturday. But right now we are at Shea Stadium. So let's get this ready to go. Of course, I'm using the History Maker ballpark to give you the feel that you're in Shea Stadium anyway, because the cards themselves don't have team colors or anything. So this is my best job at accoutrements. Like I said, I'm not an AI guy. I don't pretend to be an AI guy, and quite honestly, I don't want to be an AI guy. I prefer my analog, and I'm very happy with that. So no complaints there. Hello, RJL. Good to see you. Hello, Larry. Good to see you. All right. So on the regular season, let's look at what Pete Falcone, I'm sure he was a major player for the New York Mets. Pete Falcone was 6-14 in the 1979 season with a whip of 1.47. Of course, to get the regular ERA, you have to go to their team sheets. And let me pull those out real quick. Tabby's in with me, but she's being very quiet, which is a good thing. Always like that when she's quiet and just getting her rest, and that's it. So let me get my sheets out here for the Dodgers and the Mets. So there are the Mets and the Dodgers, the team sheets. And let's see what Falcone did for his ERA. For those of you that aren't really a big fan of WHIP and want to know what he did for his ERA. Let's see here. Pete Falcone, where are you? Oh, here he is, up here. All right, he had a 4.16 ERA. So it's 6-14 with a 4.16 ERA. And Bert Hooton was 11-10 with a 2.97 ERA. So in case you were curious about that, and we have the team sheets handy, so when I need them, I have them. Again, the game results as far as the base running out charts and base running charts and stuff, I've got in a binder, and I'll keep them off the camera, but I will be showing the defensive charts when necessary. I will be showing the 54 chart when that comes up, and also any potential sacrifice bunt charts. You will not see a hit and run. So all those are in play, so to speak. All right. Okay. So hopefully, I got the overhead light off, so I'm hoping there's enough light there already. I could try to turn it on, see if that, I'm afraid that's going to give almost too much of a glare, too much contrast. So I'm thinking I'm probably better off like this. I just think I am. Hopefully that's the case. All right, so the first order of business is we're going to have bullpen sessions. I need to get little tokens so I can mark. Oh, I got them right here. I got these little tokens, and I'm going to put them over top of the letter that each individual pitcher has, so that I can remind myself as I'm playing, and anybody watching them can, coming in late, wants to know what grade the guy is. You can see it on the token. So first is Pete Falcone, and that's a 16, so he's under his C grades. Not a good play there for Pete Falcone. He'll be on his C grades. Bert Hooton, he is on his A grades. Wouldn't you know it? So Happy Hooton's on his A grades, Falcone's on his C grades. So obviously there's no use playing the game because we know the Dodgers are going to wipe them out. No question about it. But that's why you roll the dice, as people might expect. That is so true, Brian. You will see the pitchers get pulled realistically. However, especially the Mets don't have a whole lot of guys available in the bullpen. I looked it up. I'm using the Action PC computer to tell me who the bullpen availabilities are, and I only see 4 arms available for the Mets: Bernard, Lockwood, Murray, and Orozco. That's it. That's all they have available in the bullpen. So they're going to hope Falcone can at least go a little bit. So anyway, we are ready to go. Davey Lopes facing Pete Falcone, and we're underway on the NBC game of the week. And we get a 46 right away. We're going to Shea Stadium. Right off the bat, Shea Stadium comes up. 1979 Shea Stadium. The D20 is a 10, and that means it's a foul out. There's a lot of foul territory apparently at Shea Stadium. And so a 9-16 is a foul out. He's a right-handed hitter. He will foul it out to the first baseman. So he fouls it out to Montañez. And we're underway. And I do have the game on the Action PC computer, and I will score it as I play it because I don't want to get messed up on outs or whatever like I did a couple weeks ago. All right, let's do this here. All right, so there we go. So Davey Lopes fouls out, 1 away, brings up Bill Russell. We get a 62 on Falcone. Even on his C grades, it's a strikeout 1-2, and that is a 2. So how do you like that? He still gets the strikeout. Even on his C grades, he gets a strikeout. So he puts the K on Russell. 2 down for Reggie Smith. Switch hitting right fielder, batting right-handed. That's a 21, and that's a strikeout there. So Pete Falcone with 2 strikeouts to start the ball game out after the foul out. And at the end of half inning to play, it's the Dodgers 0, and the Mets coming to bat. Maybe Robert is giving the Mets some karma here. I don't know. We shall see. So Bert Hooton on the mound for the Dodgers, and he does have his A grades. And he'll be taking on former Pirate Frank Taveras. That's a 65. So that's a home run chance, but Frank Taveras is a -11. And his home run chance is only a 1 to 3 anyway. So that's no way that's a home run. So we're going to go ahead and use the 5 because we never used it here. He didn't have to. So we'll use that 5 there. Base is empty 5. It's going to be a ground ball to third. And that's 1 away. So no chance of a home run there for Mr. Taveras, as he had 1 in 635 at bats. So got to do some doing to get him a home run, that's for sure. Oh, the selection show is this evening. Okay, interesting. All right, Richie Hebner, third baseman, longtime Pirate and Philly. That is a 22, and that's going to be a base on balls. So how about that? We get our first base runner. So Richie Hebner draws a 1-out walk against Hooton. Again, using auto steals. So if there's no plus sign there, I'm not even going to attempt anything. Let's see. He looked like he stole 3 bases, got caught 4 times. So the only time he gets the chance to do auto stealing is on a 24 where he gets hit by a pitch. Other than that, he's going to stand still, basically. Here's Lee Mazzilli. Supposed to have been the next big thing in New York, but somehow it just didn't work out. That's a 44, and he's going to get a single plus. So that means if the runner gets to third, he will get a chance to steal. We check the base hit. Runner advancement on first base. The D20 is an 18. It's a center field assist chance at third if 1 out. Well, there is 1 out, so it is a center field assist chance at third base. Center fielder is Daryl Thomas. So we'll get his assist rating off the chart. His assist rating is a 5. So if I'm reading that correctly, anything other than a 6, he's going to be out trying to go to third base. And he is. So 5, he throws him out. Now, does the other runners advance? Batter stays at first. Okay. Batter stays at first, so he's out at third base. Mazzilli with the single, but Hebner is out of there 8 to 5 as Thomas throws a bullet. He throws a bullet to third base. Makes it 2 away with Mazzilli at first base, but Mazzilli does get a chance to steal because that 44 had the plus sign on it. So Mazzilli will get a chance to steal. We'll check the catcher Yeager, his arm. Yeager's arm as a catcher is average, so he will not affect the numbers on Mazzilli. Mazzilli's stolen base chance is a 15. So basically 1 to 15, he steals it. And he does. So Lee Mazzilli steals second base, gets there with 2 outs. So big play there to get in scoring position with 2 outs for the guy that was the gem in the Tom Seaver trade with the Reds, or guess was supposed to be the gem, Steve Henderson. So Henderson, cleanup man, left fielder, will step to the plate with 2 outs. If we were playing Strat-O-Matic, it'd be a clutch situation, but of course we're not doing that right now. Hooton, 14, and that's going to be an out. That's a 3. Runner on second and an out chart. 3 is a ground ball to third, and that will end the inning. So the Mets get a couple of hits, but can't make anything work. We played 1 here at Shea, and we're scoreless. And I am having to move a lot of things around and score it on the Action PC computer, so that's why between at bats there's a slight delay because I'm doing these things in the computer to get that straight. Alrighty, now we are back. Back to the top of the second. Steve Garvey, Mr. Clean. 31, and that's usually all I need is a spam call coming in. All right, 31 is a single, but the homebrew that I picked up from Replay Gamer says it's going to be a range check. So instead of an automatic hit, we will move over to a range play. And Figure out who the range check is on. 55, so the range check, 55 is on the third baseman, and that would happen to be Richie Hebner. So I'm going to check Hebner's range on the team defensive sheet. Let's get his range at third base. Third base, right over here. Richie Hebner's range is a 7. Not very good. Not very good. I forgot to roll the D20, so I need to roll the D20 to see if he gets to this. 1 to 7 he does. And he does. Richie Hebner makes the play. Nice play for Richie Hebner. And he will throw out Mr. Clean, 1 away. And it will bring up the Penguin, Ron Say. 45 for Falcone is still going to be an out, even on his C grades. That's a 12, and the 12 is a pop out to whatever the white die is, which is a 5. So he pops it up to Hebner. 2 up, 2 down. Falcone holding his own in the early stages of this game. Now here comes the Lizard, Dusty Baker. 62, and that's a strikeout on a 1 to 2. That's a 6, so that fails. So we're going to re-roll and get the out. And it's going to be a 6, rather. So that's going to be a ground out to short. And that will end the inning. 3 up and 3 down go the Dodgers in the top of the second. Falcone. Getting through the Dodgers 6 up and 6 down so far. Don't know how long that'll last. Here is Willie Montañez, bottom of the first. 25 for Montañez, that's an out, and a 4 is a ground out to second base. So Montañez grounds to Lopes. Easy play, 1 away. Bring up Joel Youngblood. Well-traveled Joel Youngblood. 66, that's a home run, a 1 to 5, and that is gone. Joel Youngblood. Home run, look at it again up close and personal. Joe Youngblood, home run, 1 to 5. If I can get it to focus right. Get this thing to focus. Good enough, I guess. I don't know. We're running low budget programs here, folks. So it's a 1 to 5. It's gone. Home run for Joel Youngblood. Very Appa-like 66. And for Youngblood, that is his 3rd home run of the replay in just his 32nd at bat. So he's really been tearing it up in Action PC. Joel Youngblood, his 3rd home run. Mets lead it 1 to 0. Here's John Stearns. 23 for Stearns. It's going to be a strikeout 1 to 9, but that's a 10, so it won't be a strikeout. Instead, it will be a fly out to center field. Out number 2. Shea Stadium still buzzing about that Joe Youngblood home run. Here's Doug Flynn. Whoop, didn't go through. Flynn, I believe, was also part of that Tom Seaver trade. 24, and that's an out. 3 is going to be a ground out to third, and that will end the inning. But the home run from Joel Youngblood gives the Mets a 1-0 lead after 2. So that will take us to Darryl Thomas, the center fielder. He's in there because of the lefty on the mound. They would normally have Rick Monday, but Monday doesn't hit lefties well, so they're going to use Darryl Thomas in center field in like a platoon situation. And we get a 46 going back to Shea Stadium. And the D20 is a 20. So that means we go to the 54 chart, use the wildest section. How about that? 54 chart, wildest section when you have a 20. So we're going to the 54 chart under the wildest section we can find with the bases empty. Wildest section, bases empty. Let's find the wildest with the bases empty. Here is the wildest bases empty. Here we go. Wildest bases empty. All right, so I'm going to re-roll the D20 and see what we get. Get a 9. Wild to space is empty 9. Pop up to shallow center field, caught by second baseman. Collision. Roll a D6. If 4, the second baseman is hurt. If 6, the shortstop is hurt. If 2, the center fielder is hurt. That's really weird. Okay, so let's look at that again. It's a pop up to shallow center field, caught by the second baseman. So it's caught by Flynn. But there's a possibility either Flynn, Taveras, or Mazzilli could be hurt. I'm going to roll 1d6. It's a 2. So since it's a 2, that means the center fielder, Lee Mazzilli, is hurt. So Mazzilli will have to come out of this game. Lee Mazzilli will have to leave. And the Mets will need a new center fielder. So let's see who they want to go to. Could go to Bruce Beauclair. He's possible. Now, actually, he doesn't play center field. He's right and left field. So let's see who else are on their bench to play out. Oh, Elliot Maddox looks to be the obvious choice. So Elliot Maddox will take over in center field, as they had a collision out there and Mazzilli unable to continue. So Elliot Maddox takes his place. And Lee Mazzilli will go to the clubhouse and get attended to. So let's put in that in the computer here. It's a pop out to the second baseman for the out. Then on the computer, I need to put in Elliot Maddox. All right, so Max has now been inserted in the center field position where he'll keep the same batting order, number 3. But the play is made. That's the more important part. 1 out. Brings up Steve Yeager, the Jägermeister. 33 for Yeager. That's a base on balls, and the Dodgers get their first base runner of the game. 1 out walk to Yeager. Brings up Hooton. Kind of weird, though, to bunt when there's already 1 out. He was a 147 hitter. Do you bunt and try to get him? I guess you, with the pitcher up, I guess we need to go ahead and bunt. I don't like it, but it's probably the prudent play. Prevent him from hitting into a double play or something like that. So we're going to roll 1d6. That's a 4, which is less than his 5. And it also says that it's going to be hit back to the pitcher, Falcone. And now we're going to make sure it's a 5 or less again, which it is. So it's a successful sacrifice to Pete Falcone. He'll throw it over to Flynn covering first base, 1-4 if you're scoring at home. You know you should be. And going to second base is going to be Yeager. So a 2-out situation now for Davey Lopes. See if he can cash in and tie the ball game. Lopes' first time up, fouled out to Montañez. 2 outs, runner at second. 61 for Lopes is a blank. Go to Falcone, 61, strikeout 1-2. That's not going to be a strikeout, but it will. I'm sorry, 61 will be a strikeout. Absolutely will. He struck him out to end the inning. That's the 3rd strikeout for Falcone. So Falcone keeps it going. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, still 1-0 Metropolitans, as Al Red Sox fan would say, or likes to call them, Metropolitans. These aren't the Go-Go Mets. That was 1977. These are the regular 79 Mets. All right, Pete Falcone's going to hit. He was a 173 hitter during the season. 53, so we got a range play. How about that? Because the 12 is higher than Hooton's KD. So we're going to the range play. See which Dodger player is going to check the range. So 45, and that's going to be the second baseman, Davey Lopes. So Lopes' range checked. Let's get his range at second base. Oh, I left this little marker out there. Let's get Lopes' range at second base. He is only a 5, not very good. That's a 6. That's going to get through for a base hit. So a leadoff single for the pitcher, Pete Falcone. because Lopes didn't have the range to get it. That's an awful low range. I thought Lopes had a better range than that, but maybe 1979 was an off year for him. I don't know. The Falcone is on for Frank Taveras. And now Frank Taveras is going to bunt. He's got a 5 bunt rating. So go through the same process again. It's a 3. So on the chart for the bunt, 3 goes to the third baseman, Ron Say. And it's a good bunt. So it's going to be a sacrifice hit, 5-4. Say to Lopes covering first, with Falcone taking second base. So how about that? You've seen 2 bunts in 3 innings. So you can't say I don't ever bunt. You just saw it right there. Of course, National League rules can kind of lean you in that direction. Plus Taveras, well, he's a decent hitter, but he was a good bunter, so I thought getting him in scoring position would be a good thing to do. He got 2 chances to bring him home. Richie Hebner's first one. 54, but that's a 2, so it's not going to go to the 54. I'm sorry, 54 is not affected by the, take that back, it's not affected by the KD, so we're going straight to the 54 chart. Runner at second. So let's see here, Wild. Men on base, Wild. So men on base, Wild. And we're going to be looking to use the original D20. It's a 2. So 2 is most likely going to fall into his wild pitch range. So let's take a look here. Hooton's wild pitch range is a 10. Let's look at the pass ball rating on Yeager because it could opt to be a pass ball. His pass ball rating is a 1-4, so it will actually be a pass ball, not a wild pitch. Is that his number for pass ball fit into that category? So hopefully that's the way it was supposed to be done. I think it is, but again, I'm not an expert at this game by any means. Still learning it as we go. But I think that's the way you're supposed to do it. So now Falcone goes to third with only 1 out, and all of a sudden the infield has to come in. Richie Hebner's still at the plate, but the infield is in. We get a 31. It's a range play. The KD doesn't affect the range play when it's a 31 range play. So we're going straight to the range play. Now with the infield in, that ought to change the range or affect the range in some way. But I don't know that it does in this game. You would think with the infield in would lessen their range. It just says here, runner on third. Where's the runner? Runner on third right here. I don't see anything about infield in. Well, let's roll it out and see what happens. Maybe somebody can give me some direction on this. Let's see, 55. We're checking the range of Ron Say at third base. So Ron Say's range at third base is a 9, and that's an 8. He does get to it. But like I said, with the infield in, you would think that you would lessen the range on that. Run on third, hit to third, run on hold, run on hold. So it says here, according to this, if it's a runner on third and it's hit to third base, the runner holds. So that's what I'm going to go by. Like I said, I would think you would think it would lessen his range though by playing in, but I didn't see anything in the rules that say that. So if I was supposed to adjust something, please let me know, and I'll make sure I do that for the next time around. All right, so 2 outs now, and here comes Elliot Maddox, his first at bat since coming in for the injured Lee Mazzilli, and he's coming in a big spot. Runner on third and 1 out. I'm sorry, and 2 outs. The infield, of course, back to normal now. 54 right there again. 54. That's an 8. So I believe that's going to end up being yet another wild pitch or pass ball, whatever the case may be. This one I believe is going to be a wild pitch because the 8 falls within his wild pitch rating, but not in the pass ball rating of Yeager, which is only a 4. So this is going to be a wild pitch. and that will score the run. So Falcone comes all the way around thanks to a sacrifice, a pass ball, and now a wild pitch. Sloppy play by the Dodgers for sure. But it is now 2-0 Mets. Bases empty, 2 outs now for Maddox. That's a 15 for Maddox, and he's out on a 17, and that is a fly to left. But the Mets bring home another run. And at the end of 3, it is now 2-0 New York over the Dodgers. Despite Falcone on his C grades and Hooton on his A grades and Lee Mazzilli being hurt, the Mets still lead it 2-0. Go figure. All right. Top of the fourth we go, and Bill Russell, the batter. Bill Russell. Russell, his first time up, struck out. 21, and he's out. That's an 11. Ground out to wherever the white die is, which is a 1, so he grounds it right back to Falcone. Easy play, 1 away. Falcone has the Dodgers befuddled, at least early on. Here's Reggie Smith. He also was a strikeout victim. 36 for Falcone, and that's going to be an out, even on his C grades. That's a 3. And he's a righty batter as a switch hitter, so he grounds it to third for Hebner, and quickly 2 away. Two up, 2 down for Steve Garvey. 23 for Garvey, and he's out. That's a 10. So it's a line out to the outfielder based on the white die, and that's a 3. So he flies it out to center field for Elliot Maddox to haul in. And another easy inning for Pete Falcone. 2-0 Mets as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Didn't have that one in my pool. So bottom of the 4th we go. Due up for the Mets, it'll be Mr. Henderson. That's 26. That's a left-right split, but it's a righty versus righty, so he'll be out, and it's a fly to left. The first left-right split of the game. I always circle those just for general purposes to know how many times it comes up in the game. Because that was one of my mini knocks on this game, was that it didn't do enough left-right splits, but we'll see how many times it comes up in the game. Here's Willie Montañez. As soon as I say that, it does come up to the 26, so Montañez gets a hit off the left-right split. So 2 26s right in a row. And it's a 1-out single for Montañez. And that'll bring up Youngblood. .25, and that's going to be an out. That's an 11, runner on first. Ground out white die is a 5, so it's a ground out to third. Faster average runner advances to second. So Montañez is an average runner, so he will take second base. The only play for Say will be to first base. 2 outs, but now the runner in scoring position. And it's going to be all up to John Stearns, the catcher. 32, that's out for Hooton, and that's a 16 with a runner at second, and that's going to be a ground out to short to end the inning. So nothing doing there for the Mets. We played 4 here at Shea on the wet grounds at Shea, but they lead it 2-0. Maybe the wet grounds are affecting the Dodgers. They're used to sunshine and all that good stuff. So maybe the wet grounds and cool temperatures are getting to them. Top of the fifth we go. Ron Say, the Penguin, stepping to the plate. 42 for Falcone. That's a base on balls. Second walk issued by Falcone. And Say, who doesn't run all that well, will be stationed at first base. Brings the tying run to the plate in the form of Dusty Baker. And 11 for Baker, and that's another walk. So back-to-back base on balls. Third walk issued by Falcone. Now he's first time he's been in trouble the whole game. First and second, nobody out for Daryl Thomas. He's an excellent bunter, but you're getting to the bottom of the order with where Hooton's going to be coming up, so he's going to swing away. 43 for Falcone is another walk. So he's walked the bases loaded, 3 in a row. 3 walks in a row have loaded the bases with nobody out. And I don't have an extra marker for the Dodgers. I only have 2 of them, so I'll use that to signify the bases are loaded. Nobody out. Steve Yeager, the batter. Met infield playing back for the double play. They need outs. 24, that's an out, and that's an 11. So we go to the bases loaded out chart. Bases loaded out chart with an 11. It's a ground out to the white die, which is a 4, second base. Runners advance. So all runners are going to advance. It's like a ground ball C in Strat. Only play was to first base, so runners go to second and third. Run does score. RBI ground out for Yeager. Cuts the lead to 2-1, and now the pitcher Hooton is up with runners at second and third and 1 out. 2-1 ball game. And Hooton, your batter. I don't think there's, I don't know if I want to mess with any kind of suicide squeeze here or not. You reduce the sacrifice hitting by -2. You know what? What the heck? It's the game of the week. We're going to do it. So according, and I'm hoping I'm doing it correctly, but according to the rules here, suicide squeeze, reduce the sacrifice hit rating by 2. Well, he's a 5. It drops it down to a 3. So we're going to roll and see if he can get there. If he misses it, though, the runner's out at home. So we got to roll a 1, 2, or 3. If you roll a 4, 5, or 6, the batter's going to be out at home. If you roll a 6, run on third is out. It's a double play. So danger here. The only way it works is 1, 2, or 3. If you roll a 4, 5, or 6, it's bad news. Do they want to try it? They'll try it. What the heck? And it's a 6. It's going to be a pop-up double play. How do you like? That's why I don't bunt, folks. But I thought I'd try it since it is the NBC game of the week. Why not? But by rolling a 6, you roll the 6 on the squeeze bunt. You roll the 6. It says popped up. Run on third out. Double play. Catcher to third base. So Hooton is out. Popping it up to Stearns at the catcher position. And then Baker's caught halfway down the line. So Stearns throws to Hebner for the double play to end the inning. So how about them big apples, as they say? So the Dodgers do get a run, but they try the suicide squeeze, and it was suicide for them. So I'm hoping I did that. I read the rules, and that's the way I interpreted it. So if I should have done something different on the suicide squeeze, let me know. But let's see how we're going to score this here. It's going to be a pop out to the catcher, and then a runner on third is also going to be out, and that's 2-5. So there you go, double play. Double play takes care of things. Okay. Thank you, RJL. All right, so we go to the bottom of the fifth, 2-1 ball game now. Here's Doug Flynn. Doug Flynn, 41, and that's a walk for on Hooton's card. Even though he's an A grade, he will walk. So Flynn walks, and that's going to allow Falcone to bunt rather. Much more safer bunt, I would believe, coming up. Again, he's a 5 bunter, so he gets a bunt down, and the 1 says it is going to be fielded by the, where'd it go here? 5 by the pitcher. So let's make sure it's a 5 or less to be successful, and it is. So it's a sacrifice bunt, 1-4, as Hooton flips to Lopes covering first base. So Flynn's at second base with 1 out, and now the Mets with a chance to add to that lead, get that run back perhaps. Back to the top of the order, and Frank Taveras. 66 for Taveras, 1-9 to triple. That's a 20. It'll be a double, and that will score Flynn, and they get that run right back. It's 3-1 Mets. RBI double from Frank Taveras. Good old 66 coming along. Very Apple-like. Mets lead at 3-1. Here's Richie Hebner. Oh, should be a double, not a single. Richie Hebner. 35, and that's going to be an out. That's a 17. Runner at second on an out. It's probably a fly to left. And it is. Fast runner advances if 1 out. Well, there is 1 out. Taveras is fast, so he goes to third despite the fly ball going to left field. It was deep enough that he can move up. So how about that? That's what speed will do for you. Get you some extra bases. So Taveras is at third with 2 outs for Elliot Maddox. Again, this is where you'd really like to have Mazzilli, but they don't have him. 25 or 52 rather, and 11. That's way above the KD. So we're looking at an error check. We're gonna have an error check on the Dodgers on the 52, and we get a 35, and that's a third baseman, Ron Say. Third baseman Ron Say. And Say's error rating is only a 3. That's an 18, so he definitely makes the play, and that will end the inning. But the Mets get that run right back. And at the end of 5 completed, it's 3-1 Mets. Top of the 6th we go. Top of the order for the Dodgers, it'll be Lopes, Russell, and Smith. As the Dodgers find themselves behind by 2 once again. 55, and that's for Lopes. It's going to be a 1-6 triple. 7-15 is a double. 18 is just a single. So he limits himself to a single. But if you weren't keeping score, that's the first hit of the game for the Dodgers. They've gotten 4 walks to get them on base, but that's the first base hit of the game. It is Davey Lopes breaking up the no-hitter here in the top of the 6th. So Lopes is aboard. Here's Russell. Hello, Dr. D. 25 for Russell. That is an out. 17 is a fly to left, I'm pretty sure, with the runner on first. Certainly is. 1 away for Reggie Smith. Yeah, I'm not sure Garvey or Say either one, or I mean, they're both what I would call borderline Hall of Famers. I never really looked at Say as a Hall of Famer. I did kind of look at Garvey possibly being a Hall of Famer, but don't know. Hall of Fame has gotten to be kind of a joke lately. All right. Hello, Ernest. I don't think I said hello to you. So. All right, here's Reggie Smith running first, one out. 32, and that's going to be an out despite being on his C grades. And that's a 7, so it's another fly to left. So Falcone managing that C grade very nicely. That's going to bring up Steve Garvey. Speaking of the devil, there he is. 23, and he is out, and that's an 11. Runner on first. It's a ground out to the white die, so he grounds it to first, and Montañez will step on the bag himself. And another goose egg goes on the board for the Dodgers. But they break up the Falcone no-hitter, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 3-1, favor the Mets. And due up for the Mets. It will be Mr. Henderson. He's 0 for 2. 14, make him 0 for 3. That's a 6, so grounder to short. 1 away. That'll send, wrong side. That'll send up Willie Montañez. He's 1 for 2. 56 for Hooton is a strikeout. And for Hooton, if I'm looking at my score sheet correctly, that's the first strikeout of the game for Hooton. And the Action PC confirms it. First strikeout for Hooton in the game. So 2 up and 2 down. Brings up Joel Youngblood. Homered in the 2nd. Grounded to 3rd in the 4th. 16 is an out, and 20 is going to be a line out to whatever the white die is. That's a 6, so he lines it to Russell at short. And that will end the inning. 3 up, 3 down go the Mets here in the 6th. We go to the top of the 7th. Still a 3-1 ball game. And once you hit the 7th inning, you kind of start looking at fatigue. Falcone can face 27 batters. Right now, he has only faced 22, so he's okay. He can keep going for sure. It's going to be Say, Baker, and Thomas due up for the Dodgers. $14, and that's going to be an out and a 4. Ground out to second, pretty basic there. Say grounds out to Flynn, 1 away. And that will bring up Mr. Dusty Baker. 33 for Baker. That's a single, and he's got a plus sign, so he's going to steal. He's got the plus sign. Second hit of the game for the Dodgers. So Baker is aboard. We'll look at his stolen base probability. John Stearns, the catcher, has an average arm, so we're not going to change anything. He's a 15. 1 to 15, he steals it. And he's out stealing. How about that? Dusty Baker got thrown out trying to steal. Goes 2 to 4. Caught stealing 2 to 4. That will clear the bases. With 2 outs now for Darryl Thomas. 46, we're going to the ballpark card, and that's a 9. Ballpark card of 9 is going to be a foul out, and he's batting right-handed, so it's a foul out to Montañez at first. And that'll do it. We have reached the 7th inning stretch here at Shea Stadium. And the Mets surprising the Dodgers 3-1. And we'll look at Hooton in a second to see. I don't think he's near fatigue either. Let's see here. So for Falcone now, he has faced 25 batters, so he's getting close to fatigue. they'll probably get the bullpen going here in the 8th. In fact, they'll probably pinch hit for him because he comes up third this inning. So that's going to probably be it for Falcone. Hooton can face 34 batters. He has faced 24, so he's in good shape there. But looking at the lineup, Stearns, Flynn, and now Falcone coming up. Looks like a pretty obvious pinch hitting situation for the Mets. Looking at their bench, they do have Bruce Beauclair, but he's pretty bad, 184 average. So he's not any good. Gil Flores is a 194 average. Kelvin Chapman, a 150 average. Ron Hodges, a 163 average. Ed Kranepool, 232. He's the leader in the clubhouse. Trevino, you don't want to use your backup catcher, so we're not going to use him. So Ed Kranepool is going to pick up a bat, the veteran, and he will be hitting for Falcone in the bottom of the 7th. So the venerable Ed Kranepool, 10 years removed from a World Series in New York. And he will be pinch hitting here in the 7th. Then we'll have to figure out who the new pitcher is going to be for the Mets in their bullpen. We will do that. Like I said, these are the 4 guys that are available, so take your pick there. Murray had 4 saves. Lockwood had 9. Orozco had none. So Lockwood, I guess, is the de facto closer. They'll probably go to Dale Murray because there's righties coming up here, so we'll figure it out. Might depend on if the Mets score any more runs too. So, bottom of the 7th we go. And here is Mr. Stearns, 52, and that's a 15, so it's above the KD range. So there will be an error check. And we'll see who it's going to be on for the Dodgers. 13, and that means it's a center fielder error check, Darryl Thomas, and that's an 11. Let's see if he has an error rating that's better than that. Let's see, center field Thomas, his error rating is only a 1. Only a 1, so obviously he will make the play. And that's 1 away. Stearns is retired on the fly ball to center. And that'll bring up Doug Flynn. 14 for Flynn is an out. 12, bases empty. It's a pop out to whatever the white die is. That's a 4, so he pops it up to Lopes. 2 down. And now with 2 outs and the bases empty, Ed Kranepool has picked up a bat and will hit for Falcone. Excellent numbers for Falcone. But they're going to turn it over to a pinch hitter since Falcone is very close to reaching fatigue anyway. So Kranepool, the batter. 55, and he comes through with a pinch hit single. How about that, Mr. Kranepool, a pinch hit single. You would think he'd be a slow runner, but he's shown as an average runner, so we're not going to pinch run for him. Let's let him stay out there. He gets a 2-out single. Okay, Kranepool, the old veteran, comes through. Base hit. That is the 6th base hit for the Mets. Here's Frank Taveras. 32. That's an out, and that's a 6. So runner on first, 6 is a ground ball, 2 short. And let's see if it's the fielder's choice or throw to first. Let's see here. White die runner advances, weak arm. All right, so it's a 6-4 fielder's choice. That's how it's technically going to go because we were checking for a double play. So they're going to the lead bag there to get the out. So we go to the 8th inning. It's still 3-1 in favor of the Mets. And now we need a new pitcher. And that new pitcher is going to be none other than right-hander. Right-hander, where'd you go? I just had you, Dale Murray. So Murray is on. Hale Murray. Get him from the Met bullpen. And give him a bullpen session. Murray, look at his numbers in the season. Murray, where are you? There he is. He was 4-8 with 4 saves and a 4.82 ERA. So Murray, bullpen session for Murray, and he is a C. What do you know? So Murray is on. And let's get the numbers on Falcone before I go any further. We'll go to the box score and get those, just to make sure that I don't miss anything. Let's see here. Why is it not showing? Oh, here we go, box score. Okay, Falcone, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, a run which was earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So just so you don't think I'm not scoring the game, I am scoring the game off to the side. So Falcone, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, a run that was earned, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. And Murray now your pitcher. Not that it matters, but on the Action PC computer, let's see what Murray's replay stats are at the moment. He is actually 1-0 with no saves, but his ERA is 11.42. 8 2/3 innings, 15 hits. He's given up 3 home runs already in those 8 2/3 innings. So Mets are hoping for a little bit better than that. So Yeager is your batter, and we get a pinch hitter for Hooton coming up as well. We'll figure out who that's going to be after Yeager hits. 62. 62 is going to be an out, and that's going to be a 5. That's a ground ball to third. So now the Dodgers will go to their bench, and we will cap Hooton at 7 innings. So Hooton is out of there. And the Dodgers will need a pinch hitter. Vic Davalillo is certainly available. Don't know if they want to go that route or go to another direction. We'll find out. Let's see how they want to work this. See who else is available. We got Davalillo, we got Joe Ferguson, Von Joshua, 282 hitter. He's actually a better hitter than Davalillo is. Martinez, Rick Monday, 303 hitter. The legendary Manny Mota. You know what? You can't pinch hit without Manny Mota. You got to use Manny Mota, right? He's pinch hitter extraordinaire in his career. So we are going with Manny Mota to pinch hit. Lefty, righty, notwithstanding. With Mota, it doesn't matter. So Manny Mota kicking up the bat. Speaking of veterans, we had Cranepool, the veteran, get a pinch hit single. So why can't Manny Mota do the same thing? And then we'll need a new pitcher for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th. The venerable Manny Mota. 357 on the regular season. In the replay on Action PC, he's hitting 750. He's 3 for 4. All right, here's Mota. 33, and he gets a base hit. So how about that? 2 aged pinch hitters, and they both get hits. How do you like that? They both get hits in the pinch. I call that great managing myself. I don't know what else calls it, but I call it great managing. If you don't want to admit it's great managing, that's okay. I still like you anyway. All right, here's Lopes. Now, Mota, they say he's I can't believe he's an average runner as old as he is. They're saying he's an average runner, so I'm not going to pinch run. Here's Lopes, 64, and that's an out, and that's a 7, fly ball to left field. 2 down. And now it's up to Bill Russell. He is the tying run. 24, And it's a hit by pitch with a 1, but it's a 4. So the out is going to be a ground ball to short, and that will do it. So a solid 8th inning turned in by Dale Murray. No reason why he can't come back and try to get the save in the 9th. You bring in Lockwood, warm up Lockwood if he gets in trouble. But he can face 10 batters, so he's definitely not a fatigue factor. Now the Dodgers will go to their bullpen. See who they have available out of their pen. They have Charlie Huff, they have Jerry Royce, and they have Rick Sutcliffe. Those are the 3 guys available. They'll go with Charlie Huff. So Huff will come on. And we'll get a bullpen session for Charlie Huff, and we'll also get the totals on Hooton. Close the book on him. So we go to the bullpen for Charlie Huff, Mr. Knuckleball. And let's go to the box score and get the final line on Hooton. Hooton, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs. They were earned. 2 walks and a strikeout. Now we need a bullpen session for Mr. Huff. He's a C. So Huff on his C grades. Oh, thank you for that reminder, Forever. Yeah, actually, Murray, in this case, got lucky. Murray is a -3 on his hit by pitch factor. So, but thank you for reminding me of that, because he could have been a +3, and that could have caused, it could have been a base hit. So, or I'm sorry, it could have been a hit by pitch. So, thank you for that reminder. Like I said, I play this game once a week, and it's still fairly new to me. So, it's not like I'm playing Strat. So, very likely could be. Could make mistakes. All right, so Charlie Huff facing Frank Tavares made the last out last inning. It's actually Hebner. That's a good thing, because that's what the computer shows. Keeps me straight. That's why I have it there. Here's Hebner. 16, and that's an out, and that's an 18, fly ball to center. And easy play there for Daryl Thomas, 1 away. That'll send up Elliot Maddox. So far, the Mets have not taken a hit having Mazzilli hurt. 64 on Huff is an out, and that's a 17. Another fly to left, fly to center, and now a fly to left. 2 flyouts to start the inning. And that'll bring up Steve Henderson. 62, and that's an out, and that's a ground out to short to end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down for Huff as he dispatches the Mets pretty quickly. Ground out to short to end the inning. All right, so top of the 9th we go. Last chance for the Dodgers. RJL, if you're still around, and since you are the big Mets fan, I will defer to you. Do we let Dale Murray try to get the save on his own, or do we bring in Skip Lockwood out of the bullpen to try to close it in the 9th? I will leave it up to you. He gave up a 1-out single to Mota, but then got out the rest of the inning. So if you want to leave Murray in there, we'll leave Murray in there in his C grades, or we can bring in Lockwood and see if he can close it out and maybe get an A grade or something. I don't know. Smith, Garvey, and Thomas are your scheduled hitters. Thomas is actually going to be pinch hit for by Rick Monday. So Rick Monday will actually come in and pinch hit for Thomas. So it's going to be Smith, Garvey, and Thomas. Switch right and left. RJL is working, so he may not be watching this at the moment. So I'll have to make that, or maybe I'll just leave it up to you guys. What do you think? You guys think I ought to trust Murray to try to get the save, or do you think I ought to bring in Lockwood? Any votes one way or the other? If not, I'll just leave him in there, unless somebody really, really wants me to bring in Lockwood. Or I might start out with Murray, see how he does. He gets in trouble, then bring in Lockwood. All right, we're getting some votes here for a new relief pitcher. So Murray is going to leave the game. He's going to go 1 inning, and we'll bring in Skip Lockwood, have a bullpen session for him. So let's see here. Murray goes 1 inning, gives up a hit, nothing else. Is there an opportunity for a double switch is the question. Last out, let's see here, Hebner. Let's see, they have a better defender that could play third base perhaps. Or who made the last out? Elliot Maddox made the last out. That could bring in, well, they're going to bring in Beauclair to play. Boy, that makes a big error rating, though, in center field if you move. I better not do that. Better not do that. Boy, I just don't know if there's a double switch to be had out there. Let's see. Don't really want to lose the field. You know what? We're not going to worry about a double switch. We're just going to go straight to the pitcher and be done with it. So, bullpen session for Lockwood. He is an 11, which means he's on his B grades. So Lockwood starting with his B grades. He is looking to nail down the save. He does have a 2-run lead, which helps. One long ball doesn't tie you. So it makes the Dodgers have to really work at it. Yeah, I agree, Ben. I looked at it a little bit further, and I just don't think there's any reason to double switch here at this point. If he gives up 2 runs, you ain't going to leave him in the game anyway. So, very astute point there. All right, here's Reggie Smith. Smith is 0 for 3. 50. Well, yeah, go to 54 right off the bat. Of course, nobody's on base, so we go to the 54. Base is empty. Wild chart. That's an 18. 16 to 18. Strike 3 if catcher range rating is a G. All right, let's get the catcher range rating, which is John Stearns. His range rating is an N, not a G. Okay, so he can't get the strikeout there. Might get it with the home field, though. Let's see. Let's see here. G, he would frame the ball 4 if the catcher rating is B. Home N gets strike 3. So there he goes. The home field advantage baked in. And that is a strikeout as John Stearns frames the pitch beautifully. And the umpire, whoever it was in this game, rung him up. Strike 3 called. Framed that pitch. And Reggie Smith didn't like it. But he doesn't have to like it. That's just the way it is. All right, here's Garvey. 62, and that's a strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lockwood. He's 1 out away from wrapping up this game, but now we have the pinch hitter Rick Monday to pinch hit for Darryl Thomas. I'm sorry, it should be Ron Say, not Monday. What am I doing? Monday wouldn't come in until way down the road. So it's actually the Penguin, Ron Say. Good thing I got the computer again to keep me straight, plus my score sheet would have told me that too. So here's Say. 66, that's a home run. Very Apple-like, a straight-out home run. No way to stop it. Home run, it is gone. There is no home run. There's no minuses here for home runs. So straight-out home run for Ron Say. And it's a good thing he had a 2-run lead to work with, is all I can say. So the Penguin goes yard, cuts the lead to 3-2. And now the Shea Stadium crowd starting to murmur a bit. Dusty Baker is up And if he reaches, then Rick Mundy would hit. So it's Dusty Baker time. 61, and that's going to be a strikeout to end the inning and the game. So Skip Lockwood hangs on, gives up the home run to the Penguin Ron Cey, but the Mets win it by the score of 3-2 over the Dodgers. And I'll go to the box score and get the totals. Finish out the score sheet. Lockwood does get the save despite giving up the home run. Huff went 1 inning, didn't give up anything. So for the Mets, 3 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. For the Dodgers, 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Winning pitcher was Pete Falcone. He's now 2-1. Losing pitcher is Bert Hooton. He is now 4-1. And not the best handwriting in the world because I was kind of doing it off the cuff and not really worried about how neat I was going to be, but that's the score sheet completed. And what I do have also completed are line scores for the next 6 games that are coming up on the NBC Game of the Week. You can peruse the schedule. That's what it's going to be looking like. Next week, we're in Cincinnati for the Astros and the Reds. Then we go to Boston for Oakland and Boston. Then we go to Cleveland for Detroit and Cleveland. Then we go to Chicago for California, Chicago. Actually, that should not be Boston. That should be the Cubs there. That's a snafu. I got to reprint this. This should be the Cubs. I don't know how in the world I got a Boston logo there. It should be Chicago. I'll fix it. I'll print out a new one. Should be Chicago. Giants at Wrigley Field against the Cubs, and then the Yankees and Royals to wrap it up, and then we'll figure it out after that. But that's the upcoming schedules. The upcoming schedule for the next few weeks in the NBC Game of the Week. So Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati is where we will be next week, I should say. Easy for me to say. So let me go to the game that day and see who the pitchers are. Actually, I can go on the Action PC and it'll tell me who the pitchers are. So let me get that going in Action PC, assuming it opens up like it's supposed to. I'm on Action PC. I know you can do it. All right, let's look ahead at the schedule. This game was played April the 28th, 1979. So we're into May. We'll be at Cinco de Mayo next Saturday. Cinco de Mayo in 1979, not in 2026. But Cinco de Mayo in 1979, it'll be Joaquin Andujar for the Astros against Tom Hume for the Reds. Hume's split time between the bullpen and the starting rotation. So it's Joaquin Andujar for the Astros and Tom Hume for the Reds. That'll be next Saturday on the NBC Game of the Week. But for today, it was the Mets holding on and defeating the Dodgers by the score of 3-2. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of the NBC Game of the Week. I'm sure next week we'll go back to our normal noontime festivities. So hopefully you enjoyed this setup more so than me just having the plain old score sheet out there, because to me, the score sheet with the white paper and these white cards, the contrast just didn't really give it to me. So I thought doing it this way, you can see the score, you can see the outs, you can see the base runners. So you don't really need to see my score sheet. I mean, I still show it, but you don't need to see it as it's happening. I think this is good enough to give a what's going on. And I think I'm close enough where you can see the cards fairly well. Hopefully, anyway. I'll go back and watch this later, at least look in on it later and see how it looks after it uploads and everything. But that's where we're at. Like I said, I don't do any sort of streaming on Sunday, but for tomorrow, I do have a special presentation planned, something I'm going to try. And if it's well received, I'll keep doing it. If it flops, it'll be a one and done. So I've already pre-recorded. I'll upload it tomorrow sometime. But that'll be something for Sunday. Then, of course, on Monday, we're back to the 1987 Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced. We'll be at Fenway Park for the Brewers and the Red Sox. Juan Nieves against Jeff Sellers will be the matchup in that one. But until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.